Alright guys, so on this week's episode of Julie's Playbook, we're going to be talking about the Browns. What did their rookies do all season? Jesse James, what did he have to say about the Steelers? And of course, what did Antonio Brown do this week? All that and more when Julie's Playbook starts now. Alright guys, so the first topic we have to talk about is Jesse James. He's not very happy with his team and the drama surrounding it. Matter of fact, he called his team the Kardashians, saying, well, they have more off-the-field problems than they do on-the-field problems, and of course their on-the-field problems are sky high right now. So I don't look for Jesse James' future to be much longer in the black and gold. Alright guys, so the next topic we have to talk about, of course, is Antonio Brown. A lot of people have been asking me what happened with the star wide receiver, so I have a whole timeline of events that we're going to go through. First, at practice, AB gets mad at Ben, throws a ball out of anger. Then he misses team meetings for the rest of the week. Then his agent calls Tomlin and says the wide receiver is healthy enough to play. But Tomlin says that's not how we roll and decides to bench his star wide receiver. Then, of course, Brown gets mad, leaves at halftime because he's already in street clothes, so why was he going to stay there? Then there's talk that Brown asked for a trade from the Steelers. Tomlin clears the air, says the wide receiver never really asked for a trade. However, Brown unfollowed the Steelers on social media and has liked all fan-made pictures of him in a 49ers uniform. I don't think Brown's going anywhere because the Steelers would lose over $20 million. I think a lot of this acting out is coming from how good of a year Juju Smith-Schuster's had and how much Juju Smith-Schuster gets the ball. Juju Smith-Schuster was just named MVP by the team. I just think Brown needs to put his big boy pants on and play the game he gets paid for. However, randomly, he shows up on this show, Masked Singer, dressed up as a hippo singing My Prerogative by Bobby Brown. There's no real word on when Brown shot the show, but it's said to be before the season. I look for everything to remain the same in the Steelers locker room. I think Brown just has some anger issues he has to work out. Alright guys, so the next topic we have to talk about is the Cleveland Browns. Earlier in the season, I said the Browns are going to be kind of dangerous. And everybody said, Julie, you're crazy. What are you talking about? This is the Cleveland Browns. Well, a picture was just released that says the Browns rookies won Rookie of the Week 11 of the 17 weeks. The picture says Baker Mayfield won in 3, 7, 9, 12, 14, 16, and 17. Nick Chubb won in 4 and 10, and Denzel Ward won in 1 and 5. What does this tell me? This tells me next year they're only going to be better. Next year they're going to probably pick up a couple defenders in the draft, and they're going to get a permanent head coach. And what does this mean? They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the AFC North. Alright guys, so the next topic we have to talk about, of course, is the playoffs. The regular season ended last week, so as of right now, on the AFC side, we have the Colts playing the Texans, the Ravens playing the Chargers, and then on the NFC side, we have the Eagles playing the Bears, and the Cowboys playing the Seahawks. Now, of course, I'm going to read to you what my bracket looks like, and later I will post a picture of this. So for the Colts and the Texans, I see the Texans winning, and they would get the Patriots. The Ravens and the Chargers, I see the Chargers winning and getting the Chiefs. Out of that, the Texans and the Chargers would be going to the Super Bowl. On the NFC side, the Eagles and the Bears win, they get the Rams. The Seahawks and the Cowboys, Seahawks win, they get the Saints. And then it would be the Rams and the Saints would go to the Super Bowl. Later in the show, we will talk about who I think is going to win, but as of right now, that's how your playoff picture looks. Alright guys, so the next topic we have to talk about is that change in the front office for the Raiders. With no front office experience, Mike Mayock will be the new GM. Well, if ESPN is looking for a replacement for Mayock come draft time, I'm your girl. Alright guys, so the next topic we have to talk about is some trade talk. Von Miller, his place with the Broncos is not 100% secure. OBJ, the Giants seem like they want to keep him, but they're not too sure about Eli Manning. And straight from Julie's Playbook, Artie Burns, Marcus Gilbert, and Jesse James are all out with the Steelers. There's no official word on that. That's just my opinion. Alright guys, so you know what time it is. There's an empty set behind me, so it's time for 5 Wide. The first question, what do you think about Mike Tomlin? Well, to sum it up, the standard is the standard, and this isn't the standard. Alright guys, question number 2. Does Lamar Jackson have enough talent to get the Ravens deep into the playoffs? The simple answer is no. I don't see the Ravens beating the Chargers twice. The Chargers are a great team, and Phillip Rivers is hungry for that Super Bowl victory. I just see the Ravens' road ending after round 1. Alright guys, so earlier in the show we talked that we would talk later in the show about a Super Bowl winner. And that's because question number 3 is, who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl? The people in Pittsburgh wanted to see a black and gold Super Bowl. I think it is going to be a black and gold Super Bowl, just not with the Steelers. I think Drew Brees and his team have the ability to win the Super Bowl this year. Drew Brees is one of the most underrated quarterbacks, and I think a Super Bowl win would consider him more elite than he is already considered. Not saying Drew Brees isn't an elite quarterback, but I don't think he's appreciated for all he's worth. Alright guys, question number 4. Will the Steelers carry another kicker through training camp? Yes, I think we will see Matt McCrane and Latrobe, and we will see Chris Boswell and Latrobe. And I think it's going to come down to the 4th preseason game who actually has the job. Though Boswell is signed for a long-term deal, Boswell's stats don't really scream long-term deal. Matt McCrane came in and really helped the Steelers beat the Bengals. I think it's going to be a toss-up who gets the job, and of course, if it comes down to the business side, Boswell will have his job, but Matt McCrane should just be a phone call away in case Boswell has another season like he did. Alright guys, question number 5 is, of course, franchise, trade, or cut. Tight end edition. We have Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, and George Kittle. I like how Zach Ertz plays. I like what he's about, so I'm going to franchise him. Travis Kelce has way too many off-the-field issues and way too many anger issues, so I'm going to have to say he's out. And George Kittle, well, I think I can get a first-round draft pick out of him, so I think I'm going to have to trade him. Alright guys, so that does it for this week's episode of Julie's Playbook. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. And of course, you want to play DraftKings, that's at JGarnick9. But until next week, that's a wrap.